Hello, happy readers and inspiring writers, and welcome to FauphTalk Fiction, where fiction becomes reality. And the reality is I'm running a little behind right now, but let's get in here and get started with our video. Hi, can I help you? That was a strange way to start. Speaking of ways to start, today's video is all about starting a brand new story and how to get the readers interested and engaged right off the bat. In today's world, it seems our readers don't really have that long of an attention span, and one question I get quite frequently is, how do you begin a story in a way that engages the reader and gets your own momentum flowing? One big message and lesson that I constantly try to pass along to my students and to fellow writers is that there is no single sentence in your story more important than the first sentence. If we think about some famous first sentences, the best ones start in a way that catches the reader's attention quickly. My personal favorite comes from Stephen King's book, The Gunslinger. The man in black fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed. When starting a story, I really like using the rule of the 3 4s. Foreboding, foreshadowing, and forethought. You want to add an element of suspense or an element that something not right is going to happen. It introduces the idea that there's a problem in your story, it catches your reader's attention quickly, and it moves your reader into wanting to know more about what's going to happen. Which is why when I begin a story, I always try to use sentences that have a good amount of those 3 things: foreboding, foreshadowing, and forethought. Here's a couple examples of the way that I like to start my stories. The first example comes from my middle grade fantasy novel Dreamshaper, in which nightmares are threatening to take over a young boy's mind. Sometime beyond the toll of midnight, 10-year-old Orson Bailey sat upright in his bed, stirred by the sound of something sniffing at his bedroom door. I enjoy the beginning of that one because, quite simply, it introduces this idea that this boy is waking up in the middle of the night. There's something odd sniffing at the bedroom door. We don't know. It could be a dog, it could be a cat, it could be a puppy, or it might be something worse. It might be something monstrous. But what it does is it gets that reader wondering what's there and gets them thinking, okay, there's something going on. Let's go to the next paragraph to find out. The next engaging opening comes from my story, The House on 5th Street, The Girl in the Statue. The house on 5th Street slept quietly beneath the cool autumn clouds like an ancient cursed relic, undiscovered and unseen by all but the most unfortunate. I really like that opening sentence because it gives the impression that the house on 5th Street might not be a very good place, and whoever comes across it might be in a world of trouble. One thing we really want to avoid when we're starting a story is we don't want to throw a whole bunch of exposition at the reader. We call this an info dump. An info dump is where you try to explain in the first couple pages a whole lot of backstory to your reader in a way that it actually bores your reader, because even though you're trying to pass along messages and build a character, you're actually doing the opposite, and what you're doing is you're pulling the reader out of the story. You want to naturally incorporate information into your story as you go along. Don't just dump information at the reader right off the bat. They don't want to read that. They want to get into the story. They want to understand what your world is a little bit by living your world, not just hearing about it like they're reading it up in an encyclopedia. Instead, start by alluding to the idea that there might be an upcoming problem. Now, you might not get to the problem for another chapter or 2, but you've created that idea in the reader's head that there is an upcoming issue and that they should be reading a little bit deeper to find out what that issue is. Thanks for joining us on FauphTalk Fiction. If you liked what you saw, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on that little bell for notifications of future videos. If you're interested in learning more about any of our books, please check out the links below. And if you've got a comment for us or a suggestion on what you'd like to see in a future video, please leave it in the comments below. As always, keep on writing, keep on reading, and keep on being good to each other. FauphTalk out.